Good evening and welcome to Travelers Radio. I'm Dan Schlossberg along with my friend and producer Roger Noriega, and we are in the 13th season of Travelers Radio, the show that lets you enjoy the pleasures of travel from the comfort of your armchair, the place where you can scratch anything that itches. Roger?
Every week at this time, we talk to people representing destinations, hotels, airlines, cruise lines, railroad, car rental companies, and others in the world of travel and industry and hospitality. Excuse me. From authors and bloggers to broadcasters and publicists. If it's got anything to do with travel, it's got everything to do with Travel Edge Radio.
And our guest tonight is Katie Coates of tiny but beautiful Ridgeland, Mississippi, where she is the Director of Marketing and Public Relations for Explore Ridgeland. Welcome, Katie. I got that right, didn't I?
That's right, you did. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thanks for taking time for this, especially on short notice. We really appreciate that. And to be honest, Katie, I had never heard of Ridgeland, Mississippi before your publicity people, Kim in particular, contacted me. But we always like to find new destinations that may be off the main radar screen and try to put them on the map. So tell us, first of all, where exactly is Ridgeland located? And is it fair to say that you're halfway between Memphis and New Orleans?
Yes, that is exactly right. We are here in central Mississippi, just north of Jackson, which is our capital city. And we are 3 hours south from Memphis and 3 hours north of New Orleans, right off of at the crossroads of I-55 and I-20. So really easy to get to. And we're also on the historic Natchez Trace Parkway, which runs, from Natchez, Mississippi to Nashville, Tennessee. So a lot of people find us that way as well.
And please tell us more about that parkway. Yes, it's pretty famous.
Yes, so the Trace is what we call it around here, and it's a national scenic byway, which is maintained by the National Park Service. So it's a really long, skinny national park, technically, that runs right through our town. And it goes, like I said, from Natchez, Mississippi, 444 miles through Ridgeland and Tupelo and Muscle Shoals to Nashville, Tennessee. So it's a really neat kind of bucket list road trip that people like to take, and Ridgeland's a good stop overnight to come and see us here. So we do a lot of marketing along with that, and it's modeled, or it runs along the old Natchez Trace, which was a historic travel corridor for like Native Americans and European settlers.
Okay, and considering your location, does summer come sooner and last longer than at many other destinations that depend on tourism?
We are lucky to enjoy warm weather most of the year, but we have a couple of extra warm months. So like August and September gets a little hot around here, but for the most part, there's never an air conditioned shop far away. So we're lucky to have kind of mild winters around here as well.
And how many people live in Ridgeland? How many hotels and restaurants do you have for visitors?
We have about 25,000 people here in Ridgeland. That was the most recent census. I think it's gone up a little bit. But at Explore Ridgeland, it is our job to promote our area, hotels and restaurants. We have 16 hotels and a little over 150 restaurants in our small town.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And speaking of eating, are there local specialties out-of-towners should appreciate?
Yes. So for all of our kind of outdoor adventure that goes along with the Trace, we have a ton of shopping and dining and specialties, and everything from James Beard nominated chefs to like really great barbecue food trucks, classic Southern food. So Cock of the Walk is a fried catfish restaurant on the Barnett Reservoir. So got some waterfront views, classic, Mississippi fried catfish. But we also have some more upscale places as well. We're kind of known as a dining destination. One of my favorite spots around here is called Kate. It's a seafood restaurant. But we also have Greek, Latin, great French restaurant, kind of anything you could look for.
Don't you like Kate's because of the name?
That's right. It's actually spelled a little different, but yeah, we'll go with that.
Okay. We're talking with Katie Coates of Explore Ridgeland in beautiful Mississippi.
On its website, Ridgeland claims to be the steakhouse capital of Mississippi. Why is that?
So we have several locally owned and operated steakhouses in our small area. Kessler Prime is at an outdoor local shopping center called Renaissance at Colony Park. They have delicious menu, all sorts of cuts, and then like big sides to share. Ely's is a great one, and they have like a bar and restaurant in our downtown area. and they are known for their great steak as well, but they also have a custom vodka infused cocktail called the Pineapple Ely, and there are a few more like that. So we just have a lot of great locally owned steakhouses in a small area.
It's good to know. Do most visitors arrive by car, or can they get to Ridgeland by train or plane as well? And if so, how close is the nearest major airport?
Yeah, all the above: planes, trains, or automobiles. We have a lot of like fly drives, what we call it. So, you fly into the nearest airport, which is in Jackson. It's about 15, 20 minutes away. We have a lot of ride share options too, but a lot of people fly in, rent a car. And yeah, we have a local train station in downtown Jackson as well.
You're tuned to Travel Itch Radio now in our 13th season with Dan Schlossberg and Roger Noriega. You can find us on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, among other places. And we are talking with Katie Coates of Explore Ridgeland.
Katie, let's talk about things to see and do in Ridgeland. We hear you can rent a bike, a kayak, or a paddle boat, or enjoy a leisurely hike to a myriad of different destinations, including the Res, and you even have spas. Please share.
Yes. So I kind of mentioned this a little bit ago, but Ridgeland is really the best of both worlds for a visitor that wants to kind of enjoy some soft outdoor adventure and the nature, but also have really great amenities as well. So we have miles of trails that go along with the Natchez Trace Parkway. And one of those is the Chisa-Foca Multi-Use Trail. It's a 10-mile paved path, and people can ride bikes or hike or bird watch, anything along that route. And then we also have a 33,000 acre Barnett Reservoir nearby as well. And we have several parks and trails that go along that, and that's great for fishing and water sports and kayaking, like you mentioned. And there are a few different outfitters nearby where you can rent anything from kayaks to a pontoon boat, or you could even charter a fishing tour to go catch some crappie or bass with a local angler. And then, just across town, we have plenty of shopping and spas and restaurants and events. And so Ridgeland's really great for anything from a family trip with your kids to a girls' getaway. We're an artistic town, so we have some great art galleries. So there's really something for everyone.
Roger?
With summer right around the corner, tell us about some of the special events planned for Ridgeland. Don't you have art shows, music festivals, pop-up markets, and even car shows and boat races?
Yes. So if you're planning a trip to Ridgeland, I always suggest you start by checking out our events listing. We have great events all throughout the year, and they're really unique. So last weekend we had the Natchez Trace Century Ride, and it's called that because you can ride up to 100 miles on the Natchez Trace Parkway. And we also had a great food and wine festival called Sante South. And then this coming up weekend, we have the Mississippi Symphony Orchestra will host their annual Pepsi Pops concert that overlooks the reservoir. So that's really neat. They play like popular music with their symphony. And then we also have a dragon boat regatta this weekend. So there's really something always going on. This is a popular time of year, but through the summer and fall, we'll have a lot of great events.
That sounds cool, especially the dragon boat.
Yeah.
How does Ridgeland celebrate July 4th?
Yeah, I have two main events that come to mind. So every July 4th weekend at Old Trace Park, they do an Independence Day celebration on the Res. This is hosted by our city. So it's live music, great food, patriotic firework displays, and just a lot of fun and great scenes. And then another event in July is called the Celebrate America Balloon Glow. And this is hot air balloons that come to the area, and they have, it's on the grounds of North Park, which is our mall in town. And they light up and blow up all these big, colorful hot air balloons. And, they got food trucks and concerts. Last year they had like the Molly Ringwald. So it's always a good time and great way to celebrate the 4th.
That's cool. We are talking with Katie Coates of Explore Ridgeland of Ridgeland, Mississippi.
Katie, I never heard of anywhere else that has firefly tours except for Ridgeland. So what's that all about?
I am glad you asked about this. This is a relatively new thing for our area, but they can be found in other areas, specifically the Great Smoky Mountains in Tennessee. And they have viewings that have become so popular that there's a ticket lottery and limited viewing opportunities. So it's a really big deal in that area. And a few years ago, a local naturalist here in Ridgeland observed the same type of fireflies as she was just out on the trace in kind of a wooded area behind our craft center. And they observed it and confirmed that this is what it is. And we call it the Snappy Sync Firefly Soiree and Tours. And so it happens during their like peak mating season at the end of May. So this year that's going to be the 16th through the 19th. And people can come. It kicks off with a kind of event with hors d'oeuvres and drinks and firefly tours Thursday night. And then the rest of the weekend, you can purchase a really affordable, like $8 ticket to just get a time slot and come see the fireflies. And you can't really take much like light out there. They give you these little like red flashlights so you don't disturb them. And it's just really neat and unique. And it's kind of a hidden gem that's already getting really popular because people are getting turned on to it.
Well, travelers like to shop, especially for souvenirs they can bring home for themselves or friends. Are there opportunities to do that in Ridgeland?
Absolutely. So we actually just moved our visitor center, Ridgeland Visitor Center, to a new area, and it's at one of our outdoor shopping centers. So we get a lot of walk-ins. And at the visitor center, we have some branded souvenirs. You can come get an Explore Ridgeland swag. And then there are lots of great handmade kind of crafts and items at the Waller Craft Center Gallery. And that is across town, just off the trace.
I've heard of artisan beer, but please explain artisan crafts. I know you have them in abundance.
Yes, so that craft center I just mentioned is home to what's called the Craftsmen's Guild of Mississippi. And these are artists and artisans from all over the state, and they become members of the guild, and then they can host demonstrations of their works and participate in events and festivals, and also sell their works on site at a gallery. So this can be everything from ironworks, basket weaving, quilt making, glass blowing, jewelry, any and all of the above. And it's just local artisans that kind of get together and display their artwork at this great facility.
And what is a Ridgeland Retail Trail? And is it appropriate for both men and women?
Yes. So we just have a ton of great shopping. The retail trail, as we branded it, is made up of several shopping districts across town. And that's everything from the craft center to locally owned boutiques to art galleries to garden shops, antique shopping. So it's a little bit of everything. And one of my favorite local shops actually is called J Olive Company, and they do like fine oils and balsamics, and you can do a tasting and buy local spices and mixes. And so I think that's a really great souvenir of Ridgeland as well, in addition to your swag from the visitor center.
You're tuned to Travelitch Radio, now in its 13th season, with Dan Schlossberg and Roger Noriega. Listen to us on YouTube, LinkedIn, and a whole bunch of other places, Instagram. I can't remember them all, Roger.
It's all good, Dan. Jet lag.
Yeah, that's it. Jet lag. That's another website. Okay, and we're talking with Katie Coates of Explore Ridgeland in Ridgeland, Mississippi.
Let's talk history. Who found Ridgeland, when, and why in that particular location?
So I've done my history lesson here, and Ridgeland is actually celebrating its 125th anniversary in 2024.
Oh, wow.
It's a good year to be talking about this. And so Ridgeland was chartered in 1899 as the village of Ridgeland. And unfortunately, shortly after, most of the village was destroyed by a fire in 1902. But the town persevered and rebuilt and started with, some roads and a school. And it was incorporated as a town in 1947 then. So this was also the year that construction began on the Natchez Trace Parkway. And there's a resting point called Brashear's Stand that was located on the old Natchez Trace in Ridgeland. And I think that's really kind of the central location that contributed to Ridgeland being where it is today.
Can visitors find museums or artifacts from recent history in America?
Yes, so Ridgeland specific history can be seen at Ridgeland City Hall. That's a new building as well over there, and they have a history room where you can get, see documents and photos and artifacts from the first families of Ridgeland, is what they're called.
Yes.
And then for complete area history, I would definitely recommend stopping along the sites of the Natchez Trace Parkway, and you can read all the signs and kind of delve into that and a lot of the Native American history there. And then there are some really great museums in downtown Jackson, just like 15 minutes down the road. The Museum of Mississippi History and the Mississippi Civil Rights Museums are branded together as the two Mississippi museums, and they are super well done. And anyone that's in the area, we definitely recommend to go check those out and get a great overview of our area's history.
At Travelage Radio, we love anything that runs on rails, from trolleys to trains. Does Ridgeland have any railroad ties? Sorry.
That's okay.
I wrote it.
Not Ridgeland specifically, but there's an Amtrak station in downtown Jackson as well. So same kind of distance, that 15 minutes. And there is a route called the New Orleans route. It goes from New Orleans up through Jackson and through the Mississippi Delta, Memphis, up to Chicago. And so that's kind of our closest route. And it goes just a little west of us through the Mississippi Delta. But it's close by. If you do want to come to us by train, you can get to us that way.
It's good to know. Is it fair to say Ridgeland blends Southern charm with urban adventure?
Absolutely. In my line of work, we welcome a lot of people to Ridgeland. We host a lot of people in Ridgeland, and I always love hearing just how pleasantly surprised people are by our offerings in our town. And it's nice to have the option to like go ride some great mountain bike trails in the woods and then come have a really nice upscale steak dinner like 5 minutes away. So it just never fails that people always say their favorite part of Ridgeland is the people, which makes sense here. We're in the hospitality state in Mississippi, but the people and the place combined just really keep people coming back.
Before anything else, we do have a question in the chat room. ARC54, is it close enough to Civil War sites to visit?
Yes. So definitely in that the two museums downtown in Jackson that I mentioned, they kind of have a complete list, but Vicksburg is like 45 minutes away from us, and they are on the Mississippi River. They have some great sites like the Vicksburg National Military Park, and then just some other areas around as well. So definitely make it a part of your overall Mississippi itinerary when you come to Ridgeland, and then kind of stop and hub here in Ridgeland and spoke out to our kind of neighboring areas.
I like that. Hub and spoke out. That is great. That is cool. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking with Katie Coates of Explore Ridgeland of Ridgeland, Mississippi.
Katie, please tell us about the types of accommodations out-of-towners can find. Do they range from inns to branded hotel chains?
So in Ridgeland, we have what we call in the travel world is like points hotels. So a lot of kind of the name brand hotels you're familiar with. We do have Mississippi's first AC hotel by Marriott, which has some kind of local flair to it. And they have a great AC lounge that's kind of become its own little hotspot in the area. And they host like live music and Third Thursday events. So the AC is kind of the closest thing we have to like a boutique hotel or an inn. But, you know, we're developing all the time. So maybe here in the next few years, we'll get more of a boutique hotel.
What are your peak and bargain seasons in Ridgeland? In other words, when can visitors get the biggest bang for their buck?
Yes. So our travel season is probably busiest now, like the spring through the summer into the fall. But we, you know, have snowbirds come through in the wintertime and road trippers all year, really. And so since Mississippi's pretty affordable for visitors year round, it's kind of often a bargain. The only really bit, you know, more expensive times might be if there's like a local, you know, college graduation or something going on, which kind of happens everywhere. But we're kind of a bargain to come and see us any time of the year.
Is there anything that we haven't asked that you'd like to add?
I would just say that we, you know, have a lot of great stuff going on. If you've already got your plans going for the summer, I would, and you're looking into fall, there's a great event called Eurofest, which is a classic European automobile and motorcycle show, and that's on October 5th. But definitely head to exploreridgeland.com, and you can see all the different things we got going on, events and itineraries, and that would be the best place to go to kind of start planning your trip to Ridgeland.
Well, I always like to ask people that are in your position, where do you go on vacation if your place is so beautiful?
Oh, that's a good question. I, because of the industry I'm in, I think love to travel. So I love to see new places, but I have some, long-term favorites as well here in the Southeast. Of course, we love going to our Gulf Coast beaches and, anywhere international as well. So I'll really go anywhere, but I think a road trip would definitely be the beach for me.
And we always like to know more about our guests. So if you don't mind, please tell us where you were born and raised, where you went to school, and how you got into travel hospitality, and especially how you came to Ridgeland.
Sure. So I was born and raised on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, a little town called Long Beach, and that is in coastal Mississippi, which I would definitely recommend anyone go and see while you're in Mississippi as well. Was born and raised there, and then went to Mississippi State, if you can't tell from my pennant here behind me. But go Dogs. They're the ones with the cowbells, if you're familiar. And there was not a hospitality major, or not one that I was aware of at the time. And I was a PR major and thought it was kind of a lot of what I like to do, with a little bit of writing and design and people and communication. So when I started looking for jobs after school, I was introduced to the executive director here at the time. It was Visit Ridgeland. We've rebranded to Explore Ridgeland. And she had also gone to state. We had a lot in common. And she said, I just really think you would love tourism, and let me tell you about it. And I came on as like a millennial to just kind of help with everything. They had sales and marketing. I did a little bit of it all, and I learned so much about the industry and just totally fell in love with what hospitality and tourism does for, the economic development in the area, whether it's a city or state or regional. And I just think it's such a fun industry and so important. It's the fourth largest industry in our state. And so I've been here at Ridgeland, and then I worked for our state tourism office, and back here in Ridgeland as the director of marketing, and was able to kind of see through the rebrand of Explore Ridgeland and a lot of fun projects like our new visitor center with our staff here. So that is kind of my quick overview.
May I interrupt, Dan? We have another question, and forgive me if we did ask this one already, but I think it's specific. What are some of the types of food that is special to Ridgeland?
So, we of course have all the Mississippi favorites, like tamales are a big thing in Mississippi. There's a drive-through tamale place here in Ridgeland, and you can get them either to eat then or to go and make them yourself later, heat them up later. So that's kind of a special Mississippi and Ridgeland kind of call.
Let's go. Appreciate that. We really went off script for that one. Sorry, Dan and Katie.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. Our guest tonight has been, I forgot the most important question on the whole script. How do Travel Witch Radio viewers get more information about Ridgeland?
Yes, head to exploreridgeland.com, which you'll see on the bottom here, and that would be the best way. But also, please follow us and check us out on social media. We have some great content there done in-house. And so we are Explore Ridgeland or Explore Ridgeland MS. Just search for Explore Ridgeland on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn, and you can see everything we got going on.
Okay, our guest tonight has been Katie Coates, Director of Marketing and Public Relations for Explore Ridgeland, beautiful Ridgeland, Mississippi. Thank you, Katie, for joining us on Travel Witch Radio.
Thank you so much for having me.
And that's it for this edition of Travel Witch Radio. As we approach Memorial Day weekend, guys, don't forget to get my book, Home Run King, The Remarkable Record of Hank Aaron, featuring a foreword by Dusty Baker. And Roger is holding the book right now. It's published on May 14th. We're not even at May 14th yet, but the book is coming out. So Roger has his own personal autographed copy of it because he was my chauffeur in LA for 5 days. Thank you, Roger. I loved it. You're terrific. And thank your cat for waking you up the last morning. That was good. You saved the day. So that's it. Next week, we're going to talk to Jay Smith, founder and executive director of Sports, Travel, and Tours. They run a great way to get to the Baseball Hall of Fame induction weekend. They take care of the accommodations, the ticketing, everything you want to know, and you don't have to worry about crush of people or anything. It's a great way. Sports, Travel, and Tours. Listen to Jay Smith next week, 5 o'clock Eastern, same station, same place, same time. Thank you very much. This is Dan Schlossberg speaking also for Roger Noriega, saying thank you for your time this time until next time. Until next week, stay safe. Thank you so much. And I'll see if the music works.